Okay, so today we'll discuss about Snowflake data engineer in the cloud
Azure.
environment. Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, can you share your JD? I will tell you what does it mean.
నేను పంపించాను కృష్ణ గారు మీకు.
Yeah, పంపించారు. స్క్రీన్ షేర్ చేస్తారా?
స్క్రీన్ షేర్ ఒక్క నిమిషం.
సో ఓకే, మీన్ వైల్ సో ఆ జేడీలో ఏం చెప్తున్నారంటే వీ నీడ్ స్నోఫ్లేక్, ఎజ్యూర్, టాలెంట్
Yeah.
అండ్
Linux.
లైనెక్స్. లైనెక్స్ అనేది ఎక్కడైనా ఉంటుంది. ఓకే, ఇట్స్ బేసిక్. Okay, like basic
Okay.
Linux commands like list files. Okay, so remove files, create files. I mean, in anywhere it will be there. Okay, so
Okay.
main ఏంటంటే Snowflake talent. Okay, so I will tell you
Yeah.
why he was saying about Azure.
Okay.
Yeah, so why? Because I mean, meanwhile you can share the screen for better.
Yeah.
Why? Because when we started working with Snowflake, it involves just show that mail. That's it. No need of resume.
Yeah, sure, Krishna.
So when we started working with Snowflake, okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, that's it, leave it. So it wants us to select, one of the cloud environment. It can be AWS, Azure, or GCP. Okay, so that is the reason I think this customer is using Snowflake in Azure environment.
Azure environment. Yeah.
Okay, so that's why he was mentioning Azure. And that is the reason you see he just put Azure at the end. Okay, first talent Snowflake. Okay,
Yeah.
Linux will be there, then Azure will be there. Okay, now from last few days we are discussing Snowflake in AWS environment, right? In AWS
Yeah.
environment, like how things will move. So now I'll tell you what are the steps involved. Okay,
Okay.
from moving on premises to Snowflake cloud. For example,
Okay.
AWS environment, what we are doing while migrating data from on-premises to AWS, I mean Snowflake in AWS. First, we are pulling the data into where? For example, your on-premises is some, MySQL or Postgres or SQL Server or whatever database in on-premises. Okay. From there, you are pulling the data where?
Data lake.
Yeah, data lake only. Data lake means
AWS.
in AWS data lake where the data will be stored.
In the raw layer and consumption.
See, you can mention any of these, theoretical terms, but where is the data stored? Yeah, it's data lake. Okay, it's a raw layer. It's a consumption layer. But
Yeah.
which will store the data in AWS environment? Where the data will be stored?
Like in the
It
glue
is
table.
stored in S3.
S3. Yeah.
Okay, simple storage service, right? In AWS environment, you may say it, data lake, or you may say it raw layer, or you may say it, consumption, whatever the layer, whatever naming we give. But where is the data stored?
S3.
Data stored in S3 in AWS environment. Okay, so that is the first step. First step is pulling the data from on-premises database or data warehouse to S3.
S.
That is the first step in the ETL pipeline. Okay, and the next question comes: how do we pull the data from MySQL or whatever your source or SQL Server or Postgres or whatever your source, DB2. Okay, how do you pull the data from your on-premises database to S3?
SQL Server.
Yeah, that's what. Your SQL Server is your source. Okay, from
Roads.
there,
Yeah.
how do you pull the data into S3?
We are using a talent ETL jobs.
Yeah.
ETL
So
tool.
yeah, here we can use do two things. First one, we can use some ETL tool like Talent. Talent means not only Talent, we can use any ETL tool. Okay. Informatica also you can use, Datastage also you can use, Ignition also you can use. Okay. But Talent is most widely used with cloud data
Cloud.
warehouses. So yeah, Talent if you use what happen, Talent will connect to source. It may be MySQL, MS SQL, or whatever it is. It will connect to source and fetches the data and places in S3.
S3.
So
Okay.
that is the purpose of he is using Talent here. You,
Okay.
you got it? Why he is using Talent? He is using
To
Talent,
data from, yeah,
to
to fetch
extract
data.
the data from on-premises source and to put it in
Source.
to place in
S3.
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 Why we're talking about S3? We are discussing Snowflake in AWS environment,
AWS environment.
right? So yeah, once
Yeah.
file is in S3, that means your data is already within the VPC, means within the cloud environment. So once the
Yeah.
file is in S3, yeah, the next things are simple. After that, what we will be doing from S3 to we'll be moving into Snowflake stage,
Oh,
and from
stage.
Snowflake stage to Snowflake target.
Yeah.
Okay, so that we can do even Talent also, or even we can do using SQL queries also, because data is there in S3. So from S3 you can copy into Snowflake stage, and from Snowflake stage 2 you can insert into Snowflake target, or we can do the same thing using Talent also. Okay, it's up to them how they want to do. Okay, so yeah, because once they are using Talent, they are not going to use Glue and all. Okay,
Oh,
because Glue is also again ETL. Okay, instead of using Glue only, they are using Talent.
talent.
Okay, so from Talent only, they will connect to source and place the file in S3. Once the data is in S3, they will be copying the S3 files into Snowflake
Snowflake stage
stage.
shifted. From
Okay,
stage to top.
and from once the data is there in Snowflake stage, they will be loading into Snowflake target.
Yeah.
Okay, that means you have moved your data from on-premises to Snowflake data warehouse. Okay, once you moved the data, they will
Yeah.
be consuming through their BI applications like Tableau, Power BI, whatever it may be. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is AWS flow. You got it right?
Yeah. 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 Krishna.
Yeah. So now the requirement is, what is the requirement? The requirement is Snowflake in Azure.
Azure.
Okay, that means they hosted their Snowflake in Azure environment. So now you tell me ETL flow will be same. Okay, on-premises database will be there, like maybe MySQL or SQL Server or Postgres, what it may be on premises. And from
Instead of
on-premise,
S3, we are using Azure like that, right, Krishna?
yeah,
Like,
that is the point. Yeah, there we are placing the data in S3. If it is
yeah, here we are
AWS,
using in the Azure.
here we will place the data in Azure Blob Storage. In Azure, the storage is called Blob Storage.
Cloud
Okay, in
storage.
AWS it is called S3, Simple Storage
Three.
Service. In
Yes.
GCP it is called Google Cloud Storage, GCS. Okay, same like S3. Okay, in GCP environment it is GCS. In Azure environment it is Azure Blob Storage. So there you will place the file. Only in, you see, will place somewhere where it will be stored. So in AWS it is S3, in Azure it is Blob Storage, in
Yeah.
GCP it is GCS, Google Cloud Storage. Okay. So yeah, once the data is there in Azure Blob Storage, same thing. From that storage,
Common.
they will copy into Snowflake stage.
Okay, stage. Okay.
Okay. How they will do? Using Snowflake. Okay. External stage. Okay. There are Snowflake stage comments will be there. Okay. Like copy. They also use copy into Snowflake stage from that S3 path. Okay. So they will copy into Snowflake. Actually, first they copy into Snowflake stage actually. Okay. From blob storage to Snowflake stage. And once the data is there in Snowflake stage, they will insert into Snowflake internal tables. It can be stage table or target table. So otherwise, there also they can use talent. Okay. So what the talent will do? Talent will take the data is there in blob storage and load it into talent Snowflake stage
Complex stage.
stage table. Because in data warehouse, the best practice is they don't directly load into target table. Initially, from S3, they will load it into stage.
Stage.
Okay. Once the data is there in stage, they can easy to transform the data. Means like deleting duplicates, filtering null values, or any unnecessary data. They can do the transformation and apply business rules like joining with other tables, and then they will load it into target table. So, so we can use for this. Okay, first thing to pull data from on premises to blob storage, that
Storage.
is must and should they it will be done by the talent. Okay, and
And
once the data is there in blob storage, it's up to them. They may use talent or they can use directly Snowflake SQL queries also. Okay, without using talent. Okay, so without Snowflake SQL means you can directly run the queries and load it into Snowflake stage, and Snowflake stage you can insert into Snowflake target. That's it. Why they may not use talent? So that to avoid the talent cost. That's it. Okay, to save the talent cost. Because even use talent also, the queries will run on Snowflake engine only. Okay, so
yeah.
you're consuming talent cost as well as Snowflake cost. Rather than that, if you can directly run the queries, okay, pulling data from blob storage and run it on Snowflake, then you are avoiding talent cost. Okay, so yeah,
Mm.
most of the people will do like this only. Once the data is there in blob storage, they'll directly run the queries to insert into stage table, and from stage table they will load it into target
Correct.
table. And all the entire pipeline they will be scheduling in some airflow or something. Airflow, control M, or autosys, Tivoli. There are many scheduling tools, but yeah, recent and modern scheduling tools are like Airflow. Okay,
Airflow.
yeah.
Mm.
So you must say that I was using Airflow for scheduling, monitoring, to check whether the jobs are running or waiting or completed or failed. Okay, to check the job status. Got
Mm.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, do you see any difference between Snowflake in Azure and Snowflake in AWS?
No difference, but not
Yeah,
that.
no difference. You see, whatever is
Yeah.
where the
From source.
Snowflake
Getting
is, you see, where the Snowflake is hosted. That's why it is hosted in Azure. That's what the information is giving. Okay. So there you will mention S3 bucket path. Here you will mention Azure Blob
Azure.
Storage path. Yeah,
Lost.
Blob
Yeah.
Storage path. Same thing like bucket. Okay, colon
Yeah.
S3 slash your bucket name. Okay, so here Blob Storage bucket name you will give. Here also they call it as buckets only. Okay,
Oh,
so you will give that bucket name. That's it. It will store. It will place the files in Azure. Azure it placed means it is in that Snowflake VPC now. Your data is Snowflake VPC because the Snowflake and Azure both are integrated. Because at the time of signing up Snowflake only, we are selecting Azure environment, right? So they both are connected actually. Okay. Once the data is in blob storage, we are able to load it into Snowflake stage. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
once the data is there in stage, we can load it into Snowflake target table. Okay. And once the data is loaded into target table means that's it. Your data is moved to Snowflake.
Snowflake.
Okay. And then your BI tools will consume the data from there. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then he will again ask the same questions like, what did you do with talent? I mean, have you ever worked with talent? Or even before that, he will work with, uh, can you please tell me what are different ETL tools you have worked with? Like that, he will ask.
Yeah. Talent, Informatica.
Yeah, you should say that, I have worked with talent, informatica, data stage. Okay, like that. Okay. Okay, then, I mean, he is expecting that you will tell talent. Yeah, okay.
Azure.
Yeah. So, okay, tell me what do you do with talent? Then you will say that, I have used talent to move data from my on-premises, databases to S3. S3.
S3.
And of course, you can also say that I work in Azure environment also. So, I move data to Azure also, blob storage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I know, how to use talent to connect to sources and to use different transformations. Okay. And place the files in S3. So, yeah, all these things using talent components. We call talent component and
Components. Yeah.
talent job, sub job. Okay. These are, different terminology within talent.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I know how to build a talent pipeline to move the data from source to S3. Okay, so that is our first pipeline. So once the data is placed in S3, S3 in case of AWS, okay, blob storage in case of Azure, we are writing another pipeline to build the data from blob storage to Snowflake stage. Okay, we will be writing a copy command, Snowflake copy, which will pull the data from blob storage to Snowflake external stage. Okay, from there we will be writing or inserting into Snowflake stage. I mean that is stage table. Okay, stage external stage is different than Snow stage table. Okay, so stage table means it's a table. External
Table. Yeah.
stage means it's like S3 within the Snowflake. Okay, that's a again file storage within the Snowflake actually. Okay, so once we are loading data into Snowflake stage table, we are implementing our different business logics and transformation to load it into Snowflake target. We should tell. Then he may ask, are you not using talent to implement your business logic? We can say that no, we are not using. I mean, we can say either yes or no. Anything will work. Okay. Yeah, so we are not using talent here because we are writing even direct SQLs to load it into Snowflake target. Or we can say that yeah, here also we are using um, talent, okay, to load from stage to target. Okay, so but I'm telling both the things. If you use why, if you don't use why. If you use it's it's an additional development cost. You have to build the pipeline, right? Talent
Yeah.
pipeline, same things connecting to Snowflake stage and Snowflake target and writing joins and all. Rather, you can directly write the query and load it into target, Snowflake target. So actually here no use actually using the talent. Okay,
Okay.
because I'm even rewriting talent jobs to use pure query SQLs. In fact, in Snowflake we use purely SQL. Okay. Only
Yeah.
ETL tools we consume to pull the data from on premises and place it in the storage. It may be like S3 or blob storage or GCS. Okay, till that time we need it. After that, we can in AWS they prefer glue. Okay, or we can even also write queries. Okay, in Snowflake they mostly prefer queries to load it into target table. In GCS or in cloud environment, they have different things. They can also write direct insert select queries into target, or they may go for data proc and all like AWS glue here data proc. for data processing and all. So they have their own tools. Okay.
Mm.
So yeah, that is in case of BigQuery. Okay, with AWS, that is in case of Redshift. But here it is Snowflake. So Snowflake don't have his own ETL tools. Either he has to use the talent or we need to manage using queries.
Queries, yeah.
You got it? The difference how things will work
Yeah, yeah.
in case of
Yeah,
Snowflake,
Krishna.
in case of Azure, in case of AWS.
Talent. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So
Mm.
generally, if people host Snowflake in AWS, okay, they may use Glue as an ETL.
Yeah.
Okay.
In my
Yeah.
project, they are using Glue. Yeah.
Yeah. So if they are using G's like Google Cloud, I mean Snowflake hosting on the Google Cloud, they may use like Dataproc and all. Okay, because the cloud provider will always say right, okay, better to use this. I mean, it will have better integration like that. But if Snowflake, if people are interested more in Snowflake rather than AWS or GCS or Azure, then they will use their own ETL tools like Azure. Okay, so
Mm.
Azure they will use. I mean Azure, not Azure, Talent. Okay, Talent is a common ETL, irrespective of what is the cloud platform you are using and what is your source. Your source may be anywhere. It can pull it
Yeah.
and place it in the storage. It may be S3 or blob storage or GCS. Once the data is there in that storage, that's it. You can now, you know, use anything. Or you can even directly write your own queries. In case of Redshift, you can
Correct.
do Redshift copy command and load it into Redshift stage. In case of Snowflake, you can use Snowflake copy and load it into Snowflake stage. Okay. So in case of GCS, in GCS or big GCP, you can also there is a load actually BQ load we call. Okay. BQ load we can use BigQuery load. Okay, here it is copy, there it is called BQ load. We can use BQ load to copy the data from GCS to table. Okay, here it's copy we call in Snowflake. In Redshift it's called copy and unload. In BigQuery it is called BQ load or BigQuery load and BigQuery export. Unload they call export. Okay, so same thing,
Mm.
loading into table and unloading from table. That's it. Once your data is there in target data warehouse, your migration is complete. Okay. So in Snowflake, since it's a Snowflake, so he may ask like questions. What is Snowflake architecture? Can you please tell? Then we need to talk about those three layers:
Yeah.
storage
Clouds.
layer,
Yeah.
processing layer, and the upper layer. Okay. And
Mm.
he may ask different other questions like what are different stages? What is virtual warehouse? Okay. So yeah, how do you scale your cluster? Okay. So what are the features of Snowflake? Okay. So,
Mm.
what is zero copy cloning?
Time travel.
Yeah,
Travel.
time travel. And what is the other feature? Time travel and
Fail safe.
yeah, fail safe. Okay, what is fail safe? What is time travel? What is zero copy cloning? Okay, what is Snowflake shares? Okay, have you used sharing? So, and I mean, major thing is how good are you in SQL? That is what.
Yeah.
How good are you in SQL? Actually, Snowflake entry is decided by your SQL knowledge because everything we
Yeah.
do in Snowflake is using SQL only.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they will ask how good you are in SQL out of 1 to 10. You may say, 8.5 or something. Okay. Then they'll ask what are different
Yeah.
types of joins. Okay. So you should say what are different types of joins?
Yeah. It's left outer join, right outer join, full outer join, cross join, self join.
Yeah. So then, which joins we mostly use?
It's left of Persian.
What did I say? I mean, we already asked this question 2 3 times. What are the, I mean, or which join you mostly use, or which join we mostly use in real time means what should be the answer?
Left of Persian.
We should not say just one left outer. What I said, we are using both inner join and left outer join. These are the most
Yeah.
widely used. Only left outer
Yeah.
join, what you will do? Okay, so basically we will use inner as well as left outer. Both will be used most widely. Okay, so only difference is if you want to pull only matching records, you will use inner join. But if you want to pull the remaining records also, apart from matching
Yeah.
records, you will use left outer. So most of our 98% of the queries use inner and left outer.
Persian.
Okay, so yeah, these two will be most widely used. We should not say like only inner or only left outer like that. Okay, so only inner means only 50-50 actually. These two again 50-50. Okay, so our job is not complete. So we should say that we are mostly using left outer and inner join in most of our queries. Then we say okay. And set operators like union, intersect, minus. So
Yeah.
those things. And what is the difference between distinct and group by? Or how do you select duplicate unique records from your table? Let's say your table is getting duplicate records. How do you identify the duplicate records? That is first one. And how do you delete duplicate records? Okay, that is second one. And next one, what are the different types of issues you have faced?
Yeah.
Okay, I have told some issues, right? Can you tell me what are those issues?
Like that there is issues getting the duplicate records when the from the source, and same when we are getting duplicate records from the source, and same thing is going to target it. So we are filtering the duplicates and deleting them.
Okay, number one. Next.
Yeah. Next, mm, count is matching, like whether in source is having the 40, then target should also have that. So count matching.
Okay. Reconciliation check or reconciliation
Yeah.
failure. Yes.
Yeah. So next, data is getting truncating, like from source, if we are getting like Chandana and but in target we are it's loading like CHA and chance. So AN is truncating, so it is a data type length issues. Like
Yeah.
the character, yeah, like in source we are giving the character string is 10, and in target we are giving like character string is like 8 or something like.
Yeah, that's right. So
Yeah.
yeah, like data truncation due to data type.
Truncation.
Okay, data type
Yeah.
not defined properly. Okay, next.
Yeah, like and also numeric overflow errors issues.
Yeah.
Like we are getting big integer in target and in source, and in target like having integer. So we
Yeah,
can load
that's
the
right.
big integer.
Yeah. So numeric overflow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So whenever you're getting big number, then the size defined in the target. For example, source we have big int and target we have integer. Then it will say that value cannot be fit in that. Technical
yeah.
term is numeric overflow error. Then what is solution for that?
So we can source if it's being we need to put like integer.
No? Oh no no no. Source you cannot change it to integer. Why? Because
Target in target we can change it as big integer.
yeah. So actually the solution is either you can change source to integer or target to big int. Either thing you can
Yeah,
do. But source you
yeah,
cannot change integer because already data is coming the big number. Okay, like
yeah,
more digits number it's coming. Okay.
yeah,
So if source also if you change source itself you will face that error. Okay. So
yeah,
since from source we are expecting a integer, okay, which is big int means more than
big
10 digits.
more
So
than 10
it is
digits.
defined as big int. So Solution should be to change at the target level so that it can receive the whatever the big number that is coming, which is more than 10 digits. Generally integer has some limit, it can store up to some 9 digits. Okay, 9 digit number. If you give 10 digit also it will take, but if you give 10 digits, 9 digits starting with
Okay.
9, it will not accept. So for that you have to go with big int.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so big int can store up to 16 digits.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you change at the target data type to big int, then it will accept. Okay, so then you will not get that numeric overflow error. Actually, these are all design level issues. Okay, this is called poor design.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, if we are good in SQL, if we are good in optimization, we can identify all these things and we can easily fix these errors. Okay, first just by seeing the details itself, we can see. Okay, yeah, both they are joining on that column. Okay, but their data types are not synced or not matching, because when we are joining two columns, their data type should match for better performance.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you see this kind of issues we will face. If their character data type, that is getting truncated. If their
Getting
number data type, it is like in number they cannot truncate the data, so they will give this error, numeric overflow and all. Got it right? Yeah, these are the issues. And have you any time involved in testing kind of thing? Any type of testing?
UI testing.
Hmm?
UI testing, like Krishna migrating when migrating.
You see, not UA testing. What did I say? Unit testing. As a
Unit
developer, you
testing.
always do unit testing.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you're saying UA testing or QA testing?
Unit testing.
What is UA testing? What are you referring? Actually, when you say UA,
When code is migrating into higher environment, well,
okay, maybe you're referring to user acceptance testing.
yeah.
Maybe someone, maybe your husband said that. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
there is
Yeah.
another testing called user acceptance testing. Okay, okay, but that is next level. First of all, as a developer, we will be doing unit testing. Means you will check the code and check whether the data is coming or not, whether the data is populating correctly or not. Same thing like reconciliation check, count is matching or not. Okay, every data type is going as expected or not with respect to data type. Okay, length, format, all these things you will check for every field. Okay, and duplicates and null values. Okay, not null values. I mean, if not null field, if null is coming, automatically it will fail the load because expecting not null but coming as null value. Then you have to see how to filter that. So all these things you will be checking as part of unit testing only. Once you are done with the unit testing, okay, and once you're done with all ETLs, whatever you developed end to end, then you will generate the file and send to user for his testing. Okay, that is called user acceptance testing.
Mm.
Okay, so if you ask about have you done any testing, means you should say that yeah,
Yeah.
I was doing unit testing and functional testing. Functional testing means business logic, whether it's coming as expected or not. Okay, functional testing, unit testing, and integration testing. Integration testing means, for example, you build three pipelines. One is building from source to S3, from S3 to stage to target. So this entire three pipelines you will run in single go. First you will run one by
Oh.
one. If everything is running fine, then you will combine three and you will run.
Mm.
Okay, you will run from scheduler itself. Where what is the scheduler?
Autosys.
Or yeah, Autosys or Control M or cron job or
Airflow.
Airflow. From Airflow itself, you'll kick the job. That's it.
Yeah.
If it should run this first workflow, second workflow, third workflow, like source to S3, S3 to stage, stage to target. Yeah, once it's done, that's it. It should generate, load the data into target. Then you'll ask the business user to check. Okay, because that is a production data. Generally, we give them. You will check once he says, "Yeah, I'm good." That's it. That is called integration testing. Means all the components you are integrating and running, like three pipelines you have built, because we are migrating the whole thing into production, right? In production also it will run from Airflow, right? So that one.
Yeah.
So when question comes from testing, you should say that yeah, I'm involved in unit testing and functional testing and integration testing. Once this is fine, I also pass the data to user for his user acceptance testing. Okay, if there are any mistakes he found, he will give you comments and you will implement it and you will make the changes. Okay, and he will verify it and confirms yes, we are good to go to production. Okay, UA means
Mm.
user acceptance testing. Okay, so okay, I think we are good. Do you have any questions?
No, I'm good, Krishna.
Yeah. So you understood what is the job environment of the customer for this
Yeah.
JD?
Yes. Yeah, Krishna. అర్థమైంది.
Yeah. So we need to, in the next interview, we will go in detail, with respect to Snowflake. Generally, in this, they will ask about Snowflake only. Okay. And
Yeah.
talent, of course, we will be telling how we develop the talent jobs and all. Okay. So, yeah, that is going in detail with respect to technical, with respect to talent and Snowflake.
Yeah.
Okay, Andy?
Yeah, okay, Krishna గారు.
Yeah. Do you have any questions?
No, good Krishna గారు.
Okay, then. See you tomorrow.